Welcome back in to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. It's already starting to get humid outside, but you can protect your home, your flooring, your vents from all that excess humidity and moisture. It prevents mold and mildew. How do you do that? You call Southeast Termite and Pest Control and you ask about their crawl space encapsulation service. They do tremendous work with this. Really, it keeps you in a healthier home. That's what Southeast Termite and Pest Control can do for you. Take a look at their website. Look up their crawl space encapsulation service, and then while you're at it, you can look at all their pest control services because I use them every year. They are really, really good. I use them year-round, I should say. Southeast Termite and Pest Control, southeasttermite.com. All right, quickly, just mentioning SEC basketball because they're going to have to get into baseball schedules and everything else as well when Texas and Oklahoma come in. But in terms of basketball, what you're looking at, probably an 18-game schedule where you play 12 teams, home this year, road next year. You rotate those 12. But you got 3 teams every year that are permanent rivals that you play home and away. So that's 6 games, and then 12 that rotate, that's 18. My question is, 3 permanent rivals. We just said Alabama, Georgia, Florida for Tennessee in football. Should the SEC look at this and say, if they do the 3 permanent rivals in football and basketball, should they say, we're making them the same 3 permanent rivals in football and basketball for every school to really gin up those rivalries? Or should it be totally separate to where if you're Tennessee, you get, maybe that's where you get Kentucky and Vanderbilt.
Right, yeah. No, that has to be totally separate. It's case by case because it's totally different. The same rivals in football aren't going to be the same rivals in basketball. Don't take Kentucky off the Tennessee schedule home and away. That's what I say. They've done that, and it was stupid.
It was horrible.
It was horrible. So that's it.
Thoughts?
Agreed. It has to be separate. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Chuck on that one. It doesn't have to be. I mean, nobody's put out a rule, but I'm gonna agree though, without saying have to be. But yes, I don't think the two are necessarily related to one another.
Josh, how would you handle it?
Yeah, I don't think it has to be. I would strongly encourage them to keep it separate. But the reason that it's more manageable because you can still play everybody. So in football, you run into this issue of when are you going to play these teams. Basketball, you can still play everybody, but the league, Tennessee, Kentucky, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, and like Vanderbilt, we can just look at that school completely separately from how we do it in football because I know they've been down, but Vanderbilt can be good.
Yes.
Can be really good.
You've had a much better rivalry with Vanderbilt in basketball over the years than you have in football.
100%.
Well, I mean, right now people would like to see Auburn every year 2 times.
Yeah, now
Right.
Okay,
yeah.
is that going to be the same?
And I would
Basketball,
still
you could look at it again every 5 to 10 years if you want to.
I would still
Yeah,
look at
agree with Tennessee, Auburn.
some December games after Christmas games. Like doesn't the Big Ten do that? Some other conferences where you could squeeze in one that you're not going to play, and you go ahead and play them once anyway.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather play Kentucky that way than not at all.
I hate that. That's why the ACC is now looking at this 3 permanent rivals thing, because Wake Forest and North Carolina, who'd played for 1,000,000 straight years, weren't put together in the ACC schedule, so they scheduled each other as non-conference games.
Right.
So you're playing and it's not counting. That's stupid. No. Just do your schedule better to where you're not having to have Kentucky.
Well,
And
Tennessee.
it toughens your schedule up, too.
I'm not big on playing somebody in my conference as a non-conference game.
I didn't say it had to be non-conference.
But then it would be an uneven number.
It'd just be an extra game.
That's not what
Well, I mean, it wouldn't work, but
you'd play
there
19
has to be
games?
some kind of way around it.
All right. Schedule right. Here's
Well, I agree.
Here's another question. If you go to a 9-game SEC football schedule, which everybody thinks you're going to, that's going to mean that 8 teams will play 5 home games this year, and 8 teams will play 4 home games this year. If you do pods, you can look at it and say everybody in your pod's the same or whatever. But in terms of the overall standings, if it's 1 to 16, which is more likely, they're just going to be taking the top 2 teams. You may be getting the bad luck that year where you've only got 4 and the other guy's got 5 and they go to the championship game. You don't, it's not fair. The NFL does this with the AFC, NFC. But that's divisions, that's splits. Is this a problem? And if it is, what would you think? You've already got Texas, Oklahoma who play at the Cotton Bowl every year. You've already got Florida and Georgia who play in Jacksonville every year. A way around this is one of your permanent rivals. Let's say you get Alabama, Florida, Georgia. Well, Florida's already a permanent rival. They're already doing a neutral site with Georgia, so they're out. Georgia's too close. Let's say you played Alabama and Nashville every year at Titan Stadium. That would mean everybody has a neutral site game to where everybody's got 4 home, 4 road, and a neutral site. Or do you just say,
Nope.
4 one year, 5 the next.
That was the idea that I had, a neutral site game. I like the idea.
I don't think the SEC would force their member schools to do that.
What if there's money in it?
I mean, but you could. What if it's a huge home gate that you would be losing based on that rival? They'd have to really sweeten it up to make up for that.
Well, this usually this gets them.
The Sterling
and-
getting
and-
bottom sign
and-
dollars.
Problem with 4 and 5. One year you got the 4 at home, and the next year you get 5 at home.
I don't, but our callers will.
Oh my
Oh,
God!
yeah.
Yeah.
They will have it.
And I tell you what, your non-conference schedule better be good that one year that you just have the 4-2 SEC.
See, I like the idea. You've already got 4 home SEC games.
So
that's the reason I think the neutral site game really doesn't change anything that much.
You have so many good locations in the South. I mean, LSU Ole Miss. That's a long history. Play at New Orleans every year. That's kind of half and half. All right. I mean, you got Houston, you got Dallas, you got 2 in Dallas. You got Cotton Bowl, you got Texas A&M and Arkansas play at Jerry World.
Right.
Right. You've got St. Louis if they ever want to upgrade that stadium. You got Nashville, you got Charlotte,
You got Atlanta.
Tampa. You've got a lot of different places you could go. Vince hates it.
Well, no, I just think
No, you hate it.
fans aren't going to go for it. Now you're going to say, all right, I got to go to the bowl game. Now I got to go to this neutral site game too. I know some years you get that anyway, but now you're doing it annually. I think fans will complain about the other one too because
Which is worse? If you finish third in the SEC and don't go to the championship game, and the 2 teams that do had 5 home games, and you've got 4, I think people would be saying, let's just do a neutral site.
Then the answer is go to 10.
I'm good with that, too.
and you know some fans are thinking, well, for Tennessee's luck, the year that they have 5 road games is also the hardest schedule of all time in the totality.
Sure.
So they'll have both.
Sure. So have we arrived at any kind of
No.
consensus here?
Well, it's
So
better
we're
than not at all to me.
You're good with 5 and 4.
Yeah.
I'm okay with 5 and 4. I like neutral site idea, but 5 and 4.
I like
I
neutral
want to
site.
preserve as much home field in college football as
Yeah.
possible.
Neutral site being Nashville for Tennessee. I mean, that's what I would say. As close or Atlanta, as close as you can
No,
make.
that's not, if it's neutral between you and another team, you can't just say put it in Nashville.
If we're writing a contract, we can.
Tennessee Vandy, you could have that be the
can't take
neutral
off-
site
Yeah.
when you have more fans anyway.
Classes, you just can't. Okay. All right, when we come back, has Iowa's athletic director come up with a way to stop some of the wild, wild west stuff that's going on right now? He's got a plan. It's a theory. It means going backwards to stop some poaching and tampering with players. Would it work? Is it fair? We don't have David Ubben here to say, it's not fair. What about the children? So we'll have to play that. Somebody will have to play David's role. All right, come on back on the Sports Horse.